I'm Chelsea. I run, and I have some thoughts. Before we get into today's episode, I want to introduce you to my other red panda, Sunshine. Come here. So, she is one of my other red panda friends, and as you can tell, she is a Hogwarts student. She is a Ravenclaw, and her best subject is potions, but her favorite subject is herbology. Okay, so if you follow my weekly half marathon training videos, first off, thank you, that means a lot. But second, you may have noticed that my uploads have been slow, and that's just because I had to take 2 weeks off from training to recover from a severe kidney infection as well as an incredibly debilitating period. And that's where I want to focus my conversation about my chronic pain as a runner in today's episode. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So when I first got my period when I was 14, I had no idea what would be in store for me all these 16 years later with being a woman and having a uterus. And then from 14 all the way until 18, the end of high school, I was starting to experiment with birth control in order to help with how heavy the periods would be, how painful they would be, how irregular they would be. I also had pretty terrible acne on my face, just hormones everywhere. So the birth control did help quite a bit with my periods in high school. They became a little bit more manageable, they became a little bit more regular, but the pain would still always find me, especially when I would be running. There would be so many races where I would just have to grit my teeth and bear it. So many races where when I would cross the finish line, I would just collapse because of the incredible amount of pain that would be shooting up my back and radiating out from my ovaries if I happened to be on a period during a race. When I was a sophomore in high school, I took a general education health class that was geared towards runners and running. And on the first day, we went around, introduced ourselves, past running experiences, and what we hope to get out of the class. When it got to me, I introduced myself. I told my teacher about all the wonderful things I was able to accomplish in high school. And then I told him, but I had to stop. And he said, well, why? And I said, well, because of female things. And his first response was, oh, you mean like you got your period or something? And I'll never forget that moment between me and this male teacher. It felt like a secret that I needed to keep to myself. It felt like almost an illegitimate reason to stop running. It felt like I was less than him. That's when I really started to negatively talk to myself and my body. And it's been a terrible habit that I am still working on breaking all these years later. So that experience with that teacher was about 10 years ago. I still get incredibly debilitating periods, even with all the different forms of birth control that I have tried over these past 10 years. Currently, I am using Nexplanon, which is the arm implant. And it's really interesting because I used this while in grad school for 2 to 3 years, and I didn't have a single period that entire time. However, this time using Nexplanon, I only started it last September. I've had a period almost every month, and this last one was one of the worst periods I've had in a really long time. I am a little bit uncomfortable sharing this next clip with you, mostly because I've just been so trained to think that my period pain needs to be a secret and that other people shouldn't know about it, and that I don't want to burden or bother anyone with this pain. I'm going to share with you just a clip on the third day of my period. It was the most pain that I've had in a very long time. And yeah. I started my period 2 days ago, and this one hurts so bad. I just got out of a hot shower, and I wanted to show you how hot this needed to be on my Look at that. I'm actually really surprised that I'm standing up right now. It's incredibly hard to stay upright and not just naturally want to bend over. I'm gonna go ahead and get in bed, and we'll just work through it. So, thank you for watching that. It was once again like really hard to share that with you. I did not feel like filming anything else at all. I was not in the headspace to do that, so I didn't. My husband was able to come home early that day, and he got me all tucked into bed and taken care of, and I was able to take some melatonin and just go to sleep for a couple of hours. And I woke up that night feeling so much better. My appetite came back because I wasn't nauseous from the pain anymore. I was able to sit up, I was able to stand, I was able to walk around my house without shuffling my feet anymore. And yeah, celebrated. Got some McDonald's for dinner that night, and it was really good. And that's just kind of the case with this chronic pain that I have. It comes and it's hard and it's awful and it's the worst, and then it usually goes away, and then it comes back about 3 to 4 weeks later, and I have to do the whole process all over again. Anyway. So the next area that I want to focus on with my chronic pain is my kidney, specifically my right kidney. I have had a very strange, weird, sharp, dull pain in my lower right-hand side for as long as I can remember. January through June of 2020, I was training and racing for my first full marathon. There would be times where I would have to take a week, 2 weeks off from training just because of these flare-ups, and I was getting so frustrated. Like, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing what's been asked of me to do. Why isn't my body reciprocating that? It got to a point where I ran my marathon, took a couple of weeks off, and then I was suffering from severe dehydration. 3 days leading up to going into the ER, I couldn't keep any food down. I hardly could drink any water. My appetite was completely gone. It was getting really scary. And at the ER, that's where they finally took a CT scan, and I finally got an answer to what this pain was. So basically, the ureter was blocked because two vessels were crossed over each other, which made draining out the kidneys basically impossible. So my left kidney was doing most of the work of cleaning everything out and taking care of me, whereas my right kidney wasn't able to fully function and get all of and clear out through the ureter. So that helped a lot with understanding what was going on. So after my final kidney surgery in October, I found out that my life just opened up in front of me. I've been having dairy, I've been eating out, I've been having fries, and I've been having soda and a little bit of alcohol every once in a while. No crippling pain the next day when I eat those foods. It's just an incredible freedom that I've been given. I don't feel like a prisoner in my body anymore, and that is a really, really cool thing. Let's fast forward just a little bit and talk about this last kidney flare-up that I had 2 weeks ago. So it had been around 4 months without any sort of problems, no flare-ups, no pain whatsoever. Amazing. And then I got an infection from a UTI with my kidney, and things just escalated from there. A lot of laying in bed, writhing around in pain, and mostly just being really angry because I thought that I was never going to have to feel this pain ever again. Be nauseous from the pain, not be able to eat anything because of the pain. Just a lot of emotions. I was just really angry, and I couldn't stop thinking to myself, why do you have such a bad body? Your body's so stupid. I thought you were over this. Why aren't you stronger? Once again, this physical place of pain was also bringing a lot of mental and emotional pain as well. And when you're laying in bed for 3 days, it's really hard to not just stay in your thoughts and reach out and ask for help. And here's just a couple of things that I will be working on. First and foremost, I am completely open to adapting to my current situation, no matter what it is. Not beating myself up for not being able to complete a workout or take a whole week off in order to feel mentally and physically prepared to run the best runs that I can. Number two, I am actively trying to stop the negative talk that I give to my body and to myself when I am in those fits of pain. Just laying in bed, looking up at the ceiling and thinking, why can't you just be normal? Why do you have the body that you have? Why can't you just be like everybody else? Scrolling through Instagram and seeing all these amazing runners and these fitness people who it just never seems like anything ever deters them from what they want and the goals that they're setting and achieving. And I'm just laying in bed feeling awful and feeling like my body isn't mine and it's being taken over by pain. But what's so amazing is that pain does not control me. My body is not just pain. I am not a prisoner to my body. I am a champion of my body. I am allowed to love my body even when the pain comes. And I think that's my final, goal with these next few months of training for these half marathons is still choosing to love my body on the bad days and not just the good days. Of thinking your body is healing. Your body is taking care of you right now. I know you're in so much pain, but you're healing and you're gonna get better. Woo! Okay. I didn't expect to cry so much. Wow. A lot of emotions. Thank you so much for coming to this episode of Racing Thoughts. Thank you for listening because, once again, all of these thoughts and these feelings have just been quiet for so long. It feels good to not be quiet anymore. You are incredible. You are amazing. And you are so much stronger than you think you are. Okay. I'll see you later.